Welcome back to the practice round for Northern Lights, getting ready for Disc Golf Valley Players Tour Week 3. We got Northern Lights is the third round that we have during this week. Starting on 1, this is just about getting down there, make sure you at least have a shot at birdie. This is a win that gives you an opportunity to get a cool skip down. Let's see if I can capitalize on it. It has a chance to get a nice skip. Great. If you hit that just right, you got a good look at the eagle. This is kind of perfect. Getting way down here, have an 80-foot throw in with that tailwind. Throw at about 50 and straight OB. Didn't account for the downhill there. Let's try again. Go more like 40 there. Yep. 40 is what that would have looked like for eagle. Let's go back, see if we get a more neutral wind. And walk this through more. Glide, skip, drive. Middle chevron on top of that rock to the right, and pull back just over the top of the sign. This gives you a chance of getting around this corner and having a look at the eagle. It's a pretty good skip down there. I am taking about 60 feet off of this throw-in, so this should be about 70 power coming down this hill to be able to get the eagle there. If you're not comfortable making that throw-in, honestly don't do it. Just take a putt down that cliff and take the birdie to move on to the next hole. Here on Northern Lights 2, this is the accurate roll musket. Slide left, aim left to this tree, and then just get enough hyzer to get around the Mando and out there. If you have a tailwind or a wind that's pushing you right to left, you can take a little bit off that or disc down to something like an Explorer if you do bag one of those. But it's a pretty straightforward hole. Get around and make that throw in for the birdie. Don't end up too far right. You won't have a look behind the branch that's blocking the basket. If you get there, just putt over and take the par. Take your medicine, take the par. Here's a double forehand sapphire. So accurate glide sapphire on the forehand after aiming down here. And then I'm going to do the same thing again after adjusting the aim point to be right in line with this tree. A little bit of hyzer to counteract that wind should get me down there to make the throw in. This is another one. It's a common blow up hole in events and multiplayer as well. So if you're not confident getting down there in 2, this is one that's very okay. Like, again, take the par. Just like on hole 1, taking the birdie. Here, take the par and be happy to move forward. If you are uncomfortable with the wind, this one I wouldn't be, but if I were to be uncomfortable with this wind, take your light glide or your turn glide driver, just chuck it way out here to the left. If you can get out this water and clear those second bridges, so it's turned out a bit better than I was expecting. If you can clear these bridges though and go OB, didn't quite get enough there. Let me do one more throw out, make sure I get it a bit wider out there. Because if you clear those bridges and go OB, then you're going to the drop zone that's behind the basket. It's a 150-foot throw-in that plays pretty pure to 150 feet. But the thing about it is you're pretty much then guaranteeing a par at worst. Let's go and move back here. So I'm 148. And even if I miss this throw-in, I'm able to take the par. See if I can get it. Nope. But that's okay. It would have been the par anyway if that first drive went far enough down there. It's not going to work in a headwind, but if you do have a big tailwind, something you might go OB on the second shot, it's better just go OB on that first shot deep and take the second drop zone. This is accurate glide sapphire on hole 4. Get up here to the middle island. If you get past this tree for the throw, which I don't, but if you can get past this tree in the middle and be looking at the right of it, you just have a default aim, a default straight pullback with an accurate roll or accurate windbreak musket. Here I'm going to just bend around the tree. As long as I'm missing this tree, I'm there to get the birdie. So that's just a pretty straightforward accurate glide sapphire to the middle. And then a musket is enough to get there if you don't have to give it any hyzer. But the sapphire, if you have to give it a little more hyzer, make sure it gets that distance there. Here on hole 5, I like to take my accurate wind fuse and put the middle chevron on the branch just to the right of the lantern there. Straight pull back should send me right up the center gap to the basket. There probably is a little bit more room on that left side, taking something forehand. I'm just very comfortable with the fuse. So that's what I like to do and work with to make adjustments for wind. This is kind of a gotta get birdie, a must get birdie coming into the Players Tour. Hole 6, take a musket, pull it straight back. Make an adjustment for wind if you have to, but don't mess around, don't overcomplicate this hole. Just take a musket, pull it straight back, and you're down here for the birdie. That's all this is. So we're going to move on to hole 7. Hole 7 is the par 5. If you get birdie here, you're in good shape. Not many eagles are going to happen. Slide left, put the aim up, and add some hyzer on this. Pretty much anywhere out here on this middle island, or this middle first landing zone, is safe. Second shot is going to be a glide water skip or wind glide drive. Aim right at this tree and let it fade back to the right there. If I happen to get lucky enough to be about 270 close to the shore, the Sapphire gives it a shot at it. I'm not, so I'm going to just go glide roll drive and get it around the backside here to be up by the green. Looks like I might have enough distance. It's not one I've dialed in. Not I'm really worried about it. Just taking the par here because taking the birdie here because a birdie is points and it's a scoreable hole to take the score of -1 and move forward. Here on hole 8, for me this is a light glide paradigm. Used to be turn glide drive. Aim straight down the gut. Give it a little bit of hyzer so you don't go OB left on the left side of that rock wall. I want to be around these rocks, or even flying in here a little bit is okay. 436 out from the basket. This is an accurate glide Sapphire for me. Make sure I hang it out there wide enough right, so it's time to get around that tree and land down here. Because it has some ground play, as long as I get past that tree, you're down here to be able to get the throw in. And take that birdie. So that's a light glide paradigm of whatever your turn driver is down that left side, I think is the best play there. Northern Lights 9, for me this is an accurate glide Sapphire. Put the top chevron on that bush and then counteract a little bit of that wind with a bit of hyzer on that disc. If you hit this gap, you're in good position. If I do have a right to left wind, I'm going to take that with a glide roll rive instead of the Sapphire coming down there. Make sure you do switch that to backhand if you're going with Sapphire. Made that mistake very recently and definitely one too many times in multiplayer. It's there's a great wind for the Sapphire, but see if I can show you with the rive. Another option is kind of hitting the rive down the gut here. The reason I don't like this is because this miss ends up here with the snowplow. This is, frankly, just a very tough shot. My play here would be to turn the world, rotate the world, whatever you want to call it, and try and put sideways here and get it in that way. Rotate the world brings a little bit closer. So you have some forgiveness there. Well, thanks for watching, guys. Good luck with downtown this week's player tour. Stay bogey free.